April 2, 1982. The South Atlantic stretched cold and endless, waves rolling beneath a sky heavy with iron-gray clouds. The Argentine Navy advanced on the Falkland Islands, a remote archipelago of rugged hills, windswept plains, and jagged coastlines. For Argentina, the invasion was swift and decisive, a move to assert sovereignty over the islands known locally as the Malvinas. For the islanders and the United Kingdom, it was a shock that would ignite a conflict thousands of kilometers from home. The first hours of the operation were meticulously planned. Argentine commandos and naval infantry prepared to disembark under the cover of early morning darkness. Helicopters lifted off from frigates and destroyers, carrying troops across cold, rolling waters. Landing craft approached the beaches near Stanley, engines humming through the fog, salt spray stinging exposed skin. Soldiers braced themselves, weapons at the ready, eyes fixed on the distant shore, aware that every moment could determine survival. Puerto Stanley, the main settlement, appeared deceptively calm. Argentine forces moved quickly, securing key installations, radio stations, government buildings, and the harbor. Flags rose over the town, marking the occupation. Civilians peered cautiously from behind walls and shuttered windows, uncertain of the intentions of the soldiers now walking their streets. Resistance was minimal in the early hours. The small British garrison was unprepared for a full-scale amphibious landing, and delayed communications left them unable to mount an immediate response. Argentine troops, disciplined and confident, pushed inland, securing roads and strategic hills. Helicopters and light vehicles scouted the terrain, establishing supply lines and preparing for possible counterattacks. The island's rugged landscape immediately shaped the battle. Rolling hills, rocky outcrops, and boggy ground slowed movement and concealed positions. Soldiers advanced cautiously, knowing any exposed line of sight could be observed from high ground. The weather itself became a constant challenge. Biting wind, sudden rain, and thick fog reduced visibility, testing navigation and morale. In the following days, Argentine forces consolidated their hold over key areas. Outposts were set on strategic heights, artillery pieces positioned to cover approaches to Stanley, and communication networks established to coordinate infantry and naval units. Despite the calm appearance, tension ran high. Every hill, every ridge, every narrow road became a potential trap. Across the South Atlantic, the United Kingdom reacted with urgency. Reports of the invasion triggered immediate mobilization. Aircraft carriers, destroyers, and submarines were dispatched from Gibraltar and the UK, carrying troops, helicopters, and supplies across thousands of kilometers. Soldiers trained for amphibious assaults and cold weather combat prepared for the long journey, knowing the harsh Falklands terrain would test every skill. Meanwhile, Argentine forces faced the first signs of challenges. Though the occupation was initially uncontested, the island's geography was unforgiving. Supply lines stretched across difficult terrain, and communication through hills and marshes proved challenging. Helicopters ferried food, ammunition, and reinforcements, while patrols moved cautiously to secure the countryside. Every advance was measured, every ridge surveyed, and every pilot and soldier prepared to defend with determination. By April's end, the stage was set for a prolonged confrontation. Stanley and the surrounding hills were under Argentine control, but British reinforcements were approaching. The calm before the storm was deceptive. Windswept plains and rocky ridges, once empty and silent, had become a theater where strategy, skill, and human endurance would collide. By late April 1982, the British task force had crossed thousands of kilometers of the South Atlantic. Aircraft carriers, destroyers, frigates, and submarines formed a powerful armada, carrying soldiers trained for amphibious landings and combat in harsh, cold conditions. Helicopters hovered above decks, ready to deploy troops, while fighter jets patrolled the skies, scanning for threats across the gray horizon. Yet for Argentina, the battle was far from over. The defenders watched and waited, preparing to strike with courage and precision. On May 21st, the British launched Operation Sutton, the amphibious landing at San Carlos Bay. Landing craft approached under fog, disgorging Royal Marines onto the beaches. Shells erupted from Argentine positions, tracer rounds slicing through misty air. Argentine pilots were already in motion, Skyhawks and super-etendards roared low over the waves, flying mere meters above the ocean to avoid radar detection. Bombs and rockets struck with precision, harassing the invaders and forcing them to scramble for cover. The daring skill of these pilots was evident in every sortie, a display of bravery and mastery in the face of overwhelming odds. The ferocity of the attacks became starkly evident. On May 21st, HMS Ardent, a Type 21 frigate, was sunk by Argentine bombs and rockets, with 22 crewmen lost. 4 days later, HMS Antelope, another Type 21 frigate, was fatally damaged by bombs and exploded during defusal, claiming 22 more lives. On May 25th, HMS Coventry, a Type 42 destroyer, was hit and sank, taking 19 sailors. Even the HMS Glamorgan, a County-class destroyer, was severely damaged by a super-Etendard-launched exocet, causing 14 fatalities. Each strike highlighted both the precision of Argentine pilots and their unwavering courage. On the ground, Argentine infantry held ridges and hills with determination. Every path, every slope, and every narrow pass became a point of resistance. Artillery raked advancing columns, while mortars targeted exposed positions. Even under relentless bombardment, Argentine soldiers coordinated defenses, adapted to shifting conditions, and exhibited remarkable bravery in a hostile and unforgiving environment. As the British pressed towards Stanley in June, helicopters ferried reinforcements and supplies, and small units launched ambushes and skirmishes to slow the advance. The terrain favored those who knew it. Argentine troops exploited rocky ridges, heat bogs, and natural cover to resist the enemy. The skies above continued to carry the echoes of daring aerial maneuvers, pilots flying low over stormy seas to strike vital targets. Finally, on June 14th, Argentine forces in Stanley surrendered. The islands returned to British control, yet the legacy of courage and heroism endured. Pilots who flew dangerously low over the Atlantic, infantry holding hills against superior numbers, and artillery crews striking with precision exemplified bravery at every level. The battle was not only about territory, it was a testament to determination, skill, and honor in the face of overwhelming odds. The Falklands remained windswept and remote, but forever etched with the story of Argentine valor. The campaign had tested endurance, skill, and courage. Even in the face of defeat, every act of heroism, every pilot, sailor, and soldier was a demonstration of unwavering commitment to their nation. Across the islands in the South Atlantic, Argentine bravery left a mark that history would never forget, a tribute to the indomitable spirit of those who fought for their homeland.